Okay, today we're going to write equations, day 5. We're going to use these notes that we wrote. We're writing equations in slope-intercept form. We talked about a form being the way something looks. And when an equation looks like this, it's in slope-intercept form. So in order to write an equation in slope-intercept form, 2 things you need. The slope, m, and the y-intercept. M, which is the slope, and b, which is the y-intercept, are numbers. So here, number 1, to find the slope, you have slope formulas. To find b, if you're given a line, you just look to see where the line crosses the y-axis. If you're not given a line, just like we did on yesterday, you're going to use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and substitute values in for y, m, and x, and solve for b. Lastly, after you find both m and b, you're going to plug those values into the equation. Just like in this example down here, after you find m and after you find b, you substitute those numbers in the place of m and b. So for m, that gives you 5. The x is already there. For b, look at what you get. You just replace b with a positive 7. So now we're going to do these examples here, okay? We're going to do these examples and do these examples. All right, okay? First thing, it says, what is an equation for the line that passes through these 2 points? So what they have given you is basically they have given you 2 points that are on a line. Okay, and I'm just drawing a generic line, any old kind of line. The line could be going up, the line could be going down. I didn't really graph it. I'm just giving you an example. So they're giving you 2 points that are on a line. They didn't tell you the slope and they didn't tell you the y-intercept. So you have to find both. So the first step, number 1, or step 1, is to find the slope, find m. So in order to find m, you wrote it here, you're going to use the formula. They didn't give you a line, so you can't do this one. So you're going to use this slope formula. So you are going to use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus, make this look like a minus x1. And we've done this before. We found the slope before. We have 2 points. So we label the first point x1, y1 because it's the first point. The second point, x2, y2. All right. We're going to substitute these values to the slope formula. And I don't have a lot of space here. Let me try to squeeze it. Let's go this way. All right, your y2 is 1. So we got 1 on the top. Minus is a part of the formula. Your y1 is 7. See, this is 7. Okay. On the bottom, x2 is right here, 0. Okay. And minus is a part of the formula. x1 is right here, which is 2. So on the top, you simplify. 1 minus 7 is a -6. If you forget your rules for integers, please use your calculator. You are allowed to use a calculator. Here, 0 minus 2 is -2. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this is a positive 3. So m, or the slope, is a positive 3. And I'm going to pause. All right. Second step is to find b. Okay. So in order to find b, this is what we did yesterday. In order to find b, you use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Please let it marinate, okay? In order to use y equals mx plus b to find b or to solve for b, you're going to pick one of these points. So you'll have an x value and a y value. You already know what m is. You're going to plug those values in and solve for b. I'm going to choose the easier of the point, and it's this one. What I notice here about this point is that x is equal to 0. Let me give you a hint. Anytime you have x is equal to 0, whatever the value for y is, which here my y is 1 when x is equal to 0, this is actually my y-intercept. Okay, this is actually my b. All right. But if you don't know and you forget, go ahead and substitute and solve for b because you might forget that. But this is a little helpful hint. Anytime you have a point where x is equal to 0, that whatever that y value is, that's going to be your y-intercept because this point actually is a point that's on the y-axis. So let's go ahead and substitute. Our y here is 1. Bring down my equal sign. My m is 3. My x, so that's times because it's automatically multiplication here. My x is 0 plus b. So in order to solve, I multiply this together. 3 times 0 is 0. So this is 1 is equal to 0 plus b. 0 plus b is just going to be b. So my answer for b is 1. So m is 3 and b is 1. You see how we figured that out here? And you would have gotten the same answer even if you chose the second point. Even if you say, I'm going to use the second point. Because they're on the same line, you are going to get the same answer for B. Doesn't matter which point you choose. The last step to write my equation is to take M and B and just plug it into the slope-intercept form. So we got the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. We use that a lot. Y is equal to my M, just 3. Bring down my x. And my b is a positive 1. This is my answer. This is that equation that they wanted. And I'll pause here, okay? All right, so number 2, doing the same process again. We're writing an equation. So when you're writing a linear equation, of course you're going to use the y, you're writing it in this form, slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, okay? All right, so 2 things we need. We need m and we need b. But all they did was give us 2 points that are on some line. That's all they did, was they just gave us 2 points that are on some line. Now that line might be going up or might be going down. We don't really know because we didn't really graph them. I'm just drawing an example of a line, okay? All right, so let's find slope first. Step 1, we're going to find slope. So when we're finding the slope, we use the slope formula. This is the first step. Slope formula we use is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? We're going to label the 2 points that are given that are on that line. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. First point, second point. Now we're going to substitute these values into this formula, simplify and reduce. So here we go. On the top, we have y2. Y2 is right here. It's 3. So we put 3 here. Minus is a part of the formula. Y1 is here. Y1 is 0. On the bottom, x2. x2 is here. It is 0. Minus is a part of the formula. Okay. x1 is here. You see it? It's 2. Okay. Let's simplify. Here on the top, 3 minus 0 is 3. And here on the bottom, again, 0 minus 2 is a negative 2. If I cover up that 0, what do I have? I have a negative 2. Okay? So when I simplify, a positive divided by a negative is going to give me a negative fraction. So this is a negative 3 over 2. Or I can keep it as 3 divided by negative 2. This is the same thing. Okay. My second step is to find b. Okay. The second step is to find b, or my y-intercept. To find b, or the y-intercept, I use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay. I'm going to pick one of these points. The easier point to choose is this one right here. You can choose any one you want. You're going to get the same answer. Again, what I notice is that here, my x value is 0. So when my x value is 0, or wherever my x value is 0, that y value attached to that is going to be my y-intercept. So here, my y-intercept again is going to be 3, because that's the number 3, because x is equal to 0. This point is on the y-axis. This point is. When you graph it, it's on the y-axis. Okay? So if you don't remember that, that's okay. Substitute it and then solve for b. And you should get 3 no matter which point you use. So here, my y is 3. My m is negative 3 over 2. My x is 0 plus b. Okay. I'll pause. I got a question in the chat. All right. Here, I'm going to multiply this by times 0. So any number times 0 is going to be 0. So on this side, you got 3. This is 0 here plus b. 0 plus b is just b. So again, look at this. B is 3. My y-intercept is 3. Okay. My last step, my last or third step, I use y equals mx plus b and replace m with the slope. That's negative 3 over 2. So this is y is equal to negative 3 over 2. Bring down the x, and my b is a positive 3. This is my answer. And I'll pause to give you a chance to write, okay? Now we're doing number 3. Again, we're writing an equation. The equation that we're going to write is written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So, two things that you need to write an equation of y equals mx plus b. You need the slope and the y-intercept. This is what they give you. Write an equation for the line that passes through these coordinates. So all they give you again is 2 points. Now I don't know if the line is going up or if the line is going down because I haven't graphed them. This is just a diagram, okay? So all they did was that they give you 2 points either on a line that's going up or down. I don't know which one. I didn't graph one, okay? So first thing you do is to find the slope. Find M. To find M, just like we did in our notes, okay? If you're wondering, where is she getting all this stuff from? I'm using these notes, okay, that we wrote. So we're using this formula. So we write M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? We're labeling. This is my first point, so this is x1, y1. My second point, this is x2, y2. All right? We're going to substitute these values into the slope formula. So on the top here, my y2, get this, my y2 is here. That's 6. Minus is a part of the formula. My y1 is here. That is 2. On the bottom, x2 is here. That's 7. Minus is a part of the formula. X1 is here. This is -1. Okay. So all I did is just substitute. After I substitute, I'm going to simplify the top, simplify the bottom. On the top, we have 6 minus 2, which is 4. And on the bottom, if you don't remember your keep, change rule that we talked about, or your rules for subtracting integers, because different teachers use different acronyms to get you to remember it, then use your calculator, okay? And practice that. We got 7 minus a -1. Really is going to be plus a positive, so this is going to be 8. Now we're going to reduce it. We're going to divide both the top and bottom by the greatest common factor, and that's going to be 4. And this gives you 1/2. So my m, or my slope, is 1/2. Any questions so far? Okay, good people. Let me know if I'm moving too fast. Number 2, we're going to find b. Okay, we'll find b. In order to find b, just like we did in the previous problems, we use the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, we're going to pick one of the points, pick the easiest one. I'm going to choose this one, this first one right here. -1 and 2. You choose that one. Doesn't matter which one you choose, you're going to get the same answer for b. Okay? Now I'm going to take this information and substitute it into this form and solve for b. So my y, if I'm using this point, is 2. Bring down my equal. My m is 1/2. So I'm multiplying by 1/2. My x is -1. So I multiply times a -1 plus b. Okay? When I multiply a positive times a negative, this is going to give me a negative. When I multiply the 1 times 1/2, that's going to give me 1/2. Okay? I'm going to bring everything else down. Now to get b by itself, I'm going to move the -1/2 by adding 1/2 to both sides. Okay? Oops, sorry, y'all. 2 plus 1/2 is 2.5. So here, b is going to be 2.5. Because on this side, this is gone, and all I'm left with is b. So since I ran out of space, I'm just going to put over here, b is equal to 2.5. That's 2 plus the 1/2 is 2.5. Okay? Any questions about how I got m or b? Lastly, when I write my equation, remember, I'm writing it in y equals mx plus b form, okay? So my m is 1/2, y is equal to 1/2 x, and my b is 2.5. So this is going to be plus 2.5. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to pause to give you a chance to write. All right, I'm going to do this last one with you, and this number 5 I want you to do on your own. All right, so it says find the equation that passes through these 2 points. Same concept. All they did was they gave you 2 points that are on some line. The line is either going up, down, horizontal, or vertical. But I'm just giving you a model over here. So you have to figure out what the slope is. So the first step is to find the slope. Then we find b, and then we plug those values into the slope-intercept. All right, so to find slope, you're going to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here, this is x1, y1. Here, this is x2, y2. First point, second point. Okay. Now you're going to take these values and substitute, simplify, and reduce. So here on the top, you have y2. Y2 over here is 5. So we're going to put 5 on the top. Minus is a part of the formula. Y1 is 1. And this is on the bottom. Okay. X2 is 3. Minus is a part of the formula. X1 is 1. So now let's simplify. 5 minus 1 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. So here, 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. So your slope in this problem is a positive 2. I'm going to pause to give you a chance to write. The second thing you're going to do, number 2, is find B. Okay? So when you find B, you use, just like we did in the previous problems, you use the slope-intercept form to find B. You're going to pick one of these points, and I'm going to choose this one because the numbers are smaller. 1 and 1, 1 for x and 1 for y, and the m. You're going to take these values, plug it into this form, and solve for b. So your y value is 1. Bring down the equal. Your m value is 2 times. Your x value is also 1. Bring down the plus, bring down the b. To solve for b, you got to multiply this together, which gives you 2. So bring down the 1 equals, and then this is 2 plus b. To get b by itself, you got to get rid of this positive 2. So you're going to subtract 2 because that's the inverse. 1 minus 2 gives you a negative 1. This is 0 here, and you're left with b. So b is equal to a negative 1. This is your m, this is your b. Last step, substitute these values into the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. M is 2, so you put 2 here. Put 2 in the place of m, bring down the x. B is negative 1, so we write minus 1. And this is your equation. Any questions? You're going to follow the same 3 steps for number 5. Find m, find b, and then substitute those values in. So I will write that for you if that helps. Find m, then you're going to find b, then you're going to lastly substitute those values. Let me move this down a little bit. Substitute. Okay. M and b. And what are we substituting that in? To the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay. So this should help you out in completing that problem. Any questions? Okay. I'm going to pause it here. Make sure that you submit this assignment. I'm going to stop the video here.